I'd like to examine in some degree of brevity the importance of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Ataturk becomes the name by which he is known in Turkish history and in world history. Ataturk, A-T-A-T-U-R-K, means father of the Turks. He was a military man and becomes prominent during the course of World War I for his defense of the Dardanelles in the many battles that took place in Gallipoli, in really, you might say, downtown Istanbul, Turkey. At least the Dardanelles were the gateway into Istanbul and into the Black Sea. And I'm not going to go into the Gallipoli campaign because what I'm concerned about here is mainly Ataturk, who becomes president of the Turkish Republic. At the end of World War I, the different European states thought seriously about carving up Turkey into different spheres of influence. The Greeks were to receive some, the Italians were to receive some, the French were to receive some, and Istanbul was to be an international city under the League of Nations or some of the major European powers. Now, Ataturk leads a revolt against the attempts on the part of the Europeans to dismember Turkey, and he's going to be successful. He defeats the Greeks and depressures the French and the Italians to leave Anatolia. All of these countries, of course, were war-weary from World War I, and that in part explains the rapid evacuation, if you will, of the European states. What I'm most concerned with here is what Ataturk wanted to do with the nation of Turkey. His program is outlined, of course, in your textbook. It's described as the program of the 6 arrows, which were republicanism, nationalism, populism, statism, secularism, and reformism. And these were the principles by which he brought enormous change to this very traditional Islamic society of the former Ottoman Empire, which had now become Turkey. Ataturk himself was an unbeliever, and he was convinced that Islam was a backward religion and was the reason as to why Turkey had not been able to make a good showing over the last several centuries. And so he sets out to recreate Turkey as a powerful, prosperous, modern nation. He clearly is an authoritarian. Some would refer to him as a tyrant. And he was determined to bring about a secure, secular, nationalist, democratic Republic of Turkey, modeled on Western lines. So he abolished many aspects of the Islamic religious system in terms of its schools, its seminaries, abolished the Arabic script, reduced the influence of the Muslim clergy, the ulama, eliminated the Sharia, which was the Muslim legal system, gave women the right to vote, encouraged them to work outside the home, forbade them to wear veils, discouraged women from wearing scarves or other kind of Islamic dress, abolished the fez, this cylindrical type hat that Muslims had come to wear in the 19th century in the Ottoman Empire, and embraced the Western hat and Western style of clothing, and established Western style schools and Western education, Western style universities. He also brought the state in to bring about the development of industry, because clearly great powers, great Western powers, had very, very strong industries, and so he very much wanted that. He wanted the Turks to think of themselves as Europeans, not Middle Easterners. And he does a lot to, let's say, fabricate Turkish history to show that the Turks were really not nomads who wandered into the Middle East in the 10th and 11th centuries. They were actually, he called them people of the sun. They were some of the people back in early times who brought about many of the great inventions like the alphabet and Greek science and many other kinds of things. And so there's a lot, of course, of a kind of phony history to build up the respect and the confidence of Turkish people. Now, to many Muslims, Ataturk is really seen to be a traitor because he clearly de-emphasized Islam, tried to subordinate it to the state, tried to control it. And so even today there's this division, you might say, between secular and religious Turks. Secular Turks are the Turks who tend to think that the reforms brought about by Ataturk have to be maintained, and religious Turks who believe that there should be a kind of restoration of Islam to predominance within the nation of Turkey. It's really quite complex, and it's quite uncertain in many cases as to what many of these Islamists really want, because there's actually some division amongst them as well. The reforms that Ataturk installed were to be ensured by the military. So the army becomes the dominant and most important institution. And this is the institution that is to maintain the reforms, to secure Turkey as a modern secular state. And Ataturk himself dies in 1938. So you could say he was essentially in power from about 1922 up until his death. So within 16 years he brought about really dramatic revolutionary change to this country. And throughout the period, really up until the late 1990s, from time to time the military intervened and took control of the government if they felt that the reforms of Ataturk were threatened by Islamic-leaning political parties. Ataturk, even though he was, very much an authoritarian, and some people describe him as a tyrant, was very much interested in democracy. You could say his kind of democracy, but he's important as laying the foundations for modern Turkey and establishing the constitutional system that still exists within Turkey. This is the first republic within the Middle East, and the first secular country, and the first modernizing, aggressively modernizing country within the Middle East. And in recent time you can say that Turkey has made tremendous progress in terms of economic development and the formation of a middle class. Because at one time, for example, when Ataturk first abolished the Arabic script, only about 5% of the population was literate. Today, overwhelmingly, the population is literate, and tends to be, deeply Muslim, but yet very much oriented to a kind of Western culture, Western style society. And I think I'll just leave it there.